Hey there, it's Amanda with the Pretty House team and with Palm Harbor Coastal Living. So a couple of weeks back, I let you know that the market update was coming and the market update is here. I had intended to get it out last week, but you know, something happens every year around this time and I lose my mind. Like I think there's 30 hours in the day, there's only 24. So first order of business, I would like whoever's in charge around here to get me some more hours. I need more hours and I need them stat. But until that happens, I'm just gonna work with the time I've got. So, market stats are in, market updates are in, fancy reports are in. I've looked at the math, I've looked at the numbers. I took your suggestions. Some of them I listened to and some of them I'm politely declining. Because I'm gonna wear what I wanna wear for my market updates. But anywho, so here is essentially the market update for September in Palm Harbor. I also had requests for Safety Harbor, Dunedin, parts of Countryside. So I'm gonna cover all of that. And this time it's gonna be mostly math. I know, it makes my head hurt just thinking about it. But it's gonna be a lot of math, but I've broken it down for you really simply because there's a lot of things going on in the market right now. And lots of people are, I feel like, panicking when there's not really a reason to panic. So first, let's talk about the real estate market update from September of this year to September of last year, okay? And before we get into like the nitty gritty of all of that, I'm gonna mention something in each area that's called contract ratio. So this is one of the indicators of what kind of real estate market we're in, whether in a buyer's market or a seller's market or, well, those are the only two. So for example, if the contract ratio is higher, then that leads to more of a seller's market, meaning that more contracts are happening at a faster rate than listings. But if there's a lower contract ratio, then that means the activity is slower, which lends itself to a buyer's market, meaning that buyers have more of the control right now. So with interest rates going up, they've not gone up drastically. I mean, quite honestly, when my mama got into this business like 800 years ago, I don't even think they had like pieces of paper that showed you the rate books or whatever. And the rate book didn't even go to as low as our current interest rate is. You know, when she did this business, it was like 19%. So interest rates are still at historical lows. And I do have some information that I can share with you about kind of what your payment would look like based upon different rates. And I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But let's kind of get into what the market is doing because that's important. So the contract ratio thing, you understand. The higher the contract ratio, more of a seller's market. The lower the contract ratio, more of a buyer's market. Okie dokie? Artichoke? All right, so the first area that we're going to talk about is Palm Harbor. But we're going to talk about, Palm Harbor's like, it just can be so much, you know? Like, is it Palm Harbor on the right side of the lake? Is it Palm Harbor on the left side of the lake? Like, what are we talking about? So this is going to be Palm Harbor west of 19. Does that help you? I hope so, because that really clears things up for me. So west of 19, basically to the water. Now these are broad because if I'm going to do specific numbers for you or specific neighborhoods, you have to tell me what neighborhoods. There's no way I could do a neighborhood report on Facebook. They would, I don't know, would they shut me down? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anywho, so from September, market update for Palm Harbor west of 19, the median sold price was $285,000. Okay, so how does a $285,000 sale price in September for Palm Harbor in real estate compare to last month? Well, that is down by 20%. Now that seems like an awful lot, right? But it's only 1 month. So when it comes to ups and downs, you kind of need to look at it in like a 3-month perspective or maybe even a little longer. So the current median sale price in Palm Harbor is $285,000, and that is Palm Harbor west of 19. Okay, so it's not like the East Lake area. I'll get to that in a minute. It's down 20% from last month. However, it is up 3% from September of 2017. Did I confuse you enough on that? Get to this though. So the average days on market means how long does a house sit on the market before it goes under contract? The average days on market right now for Palm Harbor is 35 days. And that's in every price point. This is just across the board in Palm Harbor. As you will see, the higher up you get in price point, typically the longer days on market you have. Why is that, you ask? I wish this was like a back and forth. It'd be so much easier. Anyway, because the higher up you get in price point, the less buyers there are in that price point. Does that make sense? So, you know, there's a lot more buyers under 300,000 than there are above 3 million. So the higher up you get, the less air there is and the less buyers there's going to be for that price point. So right now, average days on market in Palm Harbor, which is the area around 19, is 35. That is 37% below the 5-year average. So that means over the last 5 years, average days on market is 37% higher than where we are right now. So let's go back to the bigger picture though, which is the contract ratio. This is what matters. I don't care what everybody else says. Contract ratio tells you where we may be headed. And right now in Palm Harbor, the contract ratio is 21% lower than the 5-year average, okay? So was the lower and higher again? You want me to refresh that memory? Okay, since you're not talking back to me, I'm gonna go with a yeah. So if it's lower, that means it's a buyer's market. Contract ratio is 21% lower than the 5-year average, which means the Palm Harbor area is lending itself toward a buyer's market, okay? So that's what's going on in Palm Harbor west of 19. A little bit later on, I'm going to come on live and I'm going to do Safety Harbor, Dunedin, Countryside, and like the East Lake area, and then Oldsmar, East Lake Woodlands area. So I'll be on probably in just a few minutes. I've got to finish up a few of those reports, but I wanted to get you the Palm Harbor update now. If you want to respond to this video with a specific neighborhood, I'm happy to send you your neighborhood report. Those just take me a little more time and I'd be working for free. So I would need to know your specific neighborhood. Okay, guys? So this is Amanda with the Pretty House team and Palm Harbor Coastal Living, and I'll be back shortly with the rest of the market update. Have a good one.